Good evening, Tallahassee, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Aaron We're here to open up the show tonight here with that nice sun there over Doak Campbell Stadium, which is currently 84 degrees under partly cloudy skies. It was a warm one today with those temperatures almost hitting 90 degrees today, so really a warm one out there, and it's still warm, 84 degrees here, but those will gradually fall down into the 60s tonight. So those current temperatures for the most part across much of the area. We are staying at 84 Tallahassee, 82 in Thomasville, and 79 down in Apalachicola. And radar is also showing those drier conditions across much of the Big Bend with perhaps a little shower or two as you get into southwestern Georgia. But overall, we're staying really dry tonight. And as for those headlines, severe weather is continuing to impact much of the Midwest with that enhanced risk today. Blistering temperatures here in the Big Bend. And also a look into this week's Spotlight City in Columbus, Ohio. So we might have a fun one on that one here. So make sure you stay tuned here on FSU Weather.
Good evening, Tallahassee, and wow, we have a lot to cover on today's show. I'm student meteorologist Oceana Hayden, and we will be covering things from the blistering heat, like Aaron was talking about here in Tallahassee, as well as going over that severe weather that we've been seeing in the Midwest. We'll be going over all of the tornadoes and all of the severe weather that is potentially going to repeat. We will be also talking about the repeated history. A year ago today, we will be going over some serious thunderstorms and severe weather that happened in the Midwest, and unfortunately some fatalities there. But we do have a lot to cover. I'm going to pass it over to Evan with the local.
Yeah, thanks, Oceana. And speaking of repeated history, it seems like we're repeating the same cycle here in Tallahassee for over the next few days here, and we're continuing that today. We have 84 degrees like Aaron mentioned before. We get to get up to 87 today. That's about 10 degrees above our average high. So we are very warm for this time of the year, very muggy, very uncomfortable, and we'll continue that trend later this week. But we are partly cloudy right now. That sun is starting to set over the stadium, and we have that southerly breeze at 10 miles an hour, kicking things up a little bit and keeping us nice and humid and muggy outside. There are a couple of showers working their way through southern Georgia right now, and also to our west, right here along the I-10 corridor moving north as well towards Dothan, but those will not be heading towards Tallahassee, and I don't expect any rain showers to really impact Tallahassee. There is a slight chance tomorrow, and I'll get to that more in the future radars. But first, we're talking about temperatures right now, still sitting in the lower to mid 80s right now. Our hot spot is at Valdosta at 86 right now, and our cool spot is down by the coast. Apalachicola sitting at 79 with that marine influence. You kind of see that outline of the coast there getting a little bit cooler because of that marine influence, the wind coming off the cooler waters there. We did get up to 87 degrees today in Tallahassee, and again, that is about 9 to 10 degrees above our average high. And remember this number of 52 for our average low, because our low temperatures tomorrow morning are going to be quite mild. I'm talking 15, maybe even 20 degrees above that average of 52. So really high launching pad for tomorrow afternoon, and that's why we have another day of hot and humid weather tomorrow. Dew points are also elevated today, sitting in the middle to upper 60s. Even down by the coast, we're sitting at 72. So that's more of a summer-like dew point, really getting that mugginess and humidity into the air and really making things uncomfortable. Not a great day to walk around outside. I ran into our fellow student meteorologist Genevieve Rejock earlier today, and I was sitting out there for about 10 minutes talking to her, drenched in sweat, just standing outside. It's really just uncomfortable to be outside today. But future radar, the winds will die down overnight tonight. We'll get some clouds as well. There may be some patchy fog along the coast, to be aware of that. And then we percolate some showers during the afternoon tomorrow, especially in our northwestern area, so just be aware of that. Not an overall great chance of seeing some rain showers, but the chance is there nonetheless. So just pack that umbrella with you tomorrow just to have it with you in case you do need it by this time tomorrow evening. For tonight, though, we're going down to well, I shouldn't say down to it. We're staying mild at 67 degrees under mostly cloudy skies, and those winds are calm, so that could allow for some fog to form, especially along that coastline tomorrow morning. And a widespread upper 60s, low 70s along the coast, and especially in eastern areas for overnight tonight. So very mild overnight temperatures. And this is not an overnight temperature that's, oh, it's a nice comfortable 68 degrees. It's a nice muggy 68 degrees. So, and we'll continue the trend tomorrow. 88 degrees is our high temperature forecast for tomorrow, nearing the record set back in 1927 of 91, and widespread 80s for tomorrow as well. 7-day, we don't really cool off until the weekend. Then we get below average. 67 is our high for Sunday. Monday looks like the best day of the week so far. But Isabel, how are we looking around Florida?
So I'm going to take a step out of our local area and look at the greater Florida area. So right now in Tallahassee it is 84 degrees. That's very warm, as Evan was saying. It's been very muggy, very sticky all day. And as you can see, down in Miami, it is 81 degrees. We are actually experiencing warmer temperatures here in Tallahassee than we are in Miami, which is very rare. And Key West, you think that that would be the Keys, the beautiful sunny weather? No, it's actually hotter here. Looking at those dew points, extremely high dew points again, summertime-like dew points at 64 degrees, 67 in Jacksonville, and 69 in Miami. So it's not going to be muggy as it is in Miami, but those temperatures are going to feel very sweltering. The radar, it's called the Sunshine State for a reason. It is going to be sunny for the next coming days and into the night. There's nothing going on here in Tallahassee. Us meteorologists like to joke about how Florida is not great in these kind of conditions to talk about. And zooming into the Big Bend region, nothing else going on. There's going to be a little bit of fog, nothing too serious to be concerned about in the area. Next, if you take a look in our beautiful capital downtown, it is beautiful, sunny, little clouds in the skies, nothing that's going to really impact your day. It is 84 degrees currently, partly cloudy, and winds coming from the south at 10 miles an hour. That's going to keep you a little bit cooler, but that dew point is going to make you a little bit muggy still. Again, the radar, we're not seeing much. Oh, there it is. It's some clouds forming in the next coming hours, but nothing that we need to be concerned about, nothing that's going to impact our day. Salt Springs. If you're a manatee, this weather would be great for you. It is 88 degrees, partly cloudy, slow winds. It's going to warm up that area very fast. Beautiful sun outside. Again, looking at the radar, we're seeing some clouds in Miami and some a little bit more northwards, but nothing that, again, that is going to impact your day, what you wear, anything like that. Looking at Miami-Dade County, Sunny Isles, it is 82 degrees, mostly cloudy, and a strong wind coming from the east that's going to keep you a little bit cooler, hopefully. So looking at the rainfall forecast, as you move to Friday, there's going to be slight chance, but nothing that concerning, as you can see in the key above my head right now. Tonight in Tallahassee, we're going to have a warmer night with cloudier conditions that's going to make tomorrow morning very warm and muggy as we saw today. And looking at tomorrow's forecast, we are experiencing warm temperatures again, 88 degrees here in Tallahassee. It's going to be warmer than it is in Miami again today. And now I'm going to pass it off to Nikki to tell us about our Spotlight City.
Thank you so much. Today, our Spotlight City is very exciting. It is going to be the capital of Ohio, Columbus. I've personally never been there, but there's some crazy stuff going on right now. Currently, it is 64 degrees with a wind of 11 miles an hour. I would not suggest being outside right now. You can see on this camera right here, it's looking pretty sad out. You know, the rain's really bringing the mood down. But around the area, it's 67 there. As we get to Louisville, Kentucky, it's 70. Detroit, Michigan, 63. So all around the area, it's pretty similar. But as we get farther out into Omaha, it's starting to get pretty chilly. There are 45 degrees over there, and even Roanoke was 84 degrees. That's quite a vast difference in temperatures across the region. Our current dew point, 62 in Columbus. That's pretty close to the current temperature, so that means that there's a lot of water in the air, making it very muggy outside, very wet air. Would not suggest going outside. You'll definitely get pretty sweaty pretty quick. But around the area is mostly similar, 60 in Roanoke. And again, as we get farther to the west, 16 in Omaha, pretty dry over there. You know, quite stark differences from Columbus. But today, it was quite a bit above the average, 78 as the high and 67 as a low, not even like touching the average, really over 18 degrees. That's kind of insane. Not really what you're expecting for this time of year, but what are you going to do? It already happened. You can see right now this radar is showing that severe weather coming through. You can see those strong storms going right over Cincinnati and heading towards our area. Not really ideal conditions. You should probably try and stay inside, not drive. It would probably cause quite a few accidents in the area. But zooming in on Columbus, you can see we have an active warning right here as well. So make sure that you're staying safe and staying updated on the weather, because I would not want to get caught out in that. Our SPC outlook is also showing that we have an enhanced risk of severe weather in the area over the next day, so I would definitely keep yourself updated and make sure that you are staying safe. I would not, again, want to be caught out in that kind of weather if I had to be outside for something. So make sure you plan accordingly, maybe bring a rain jacket or an umbrella out when you go with you. But over the next few days, it should pass, and just bring some clouds. It might be cloudy over the next few days, but the rain will eventually go away. And if you're a fan of Columbus sports, the Blue Jackets are going to be playing the Rangers tomorrow night. So if you're a big hockey fan, it should be a nice night, 57 degrees. There are going to be some clouds out, but it should be just a gorgeous night. Maybe bring a light jacket if you want to go watch that game. But looking into the weekend, we're going to be having some nice weather, good temperatures as the rain goes away, a little bit cooler, but nothing too bad. But let's go back down to the southeast. How's that looking, Aaron?
That's right. I would tell two stories here in terms of temperatures and overall conditions, at least how it feels across the southeast. But kind of taking things closer back here towards the region, we're sitting at 79 degrees in Beaufort, South Carolina, 85 degrees in Atlanta, Georgia. Really a steam bath outside here, and with the urban heat out in effect of Atlanta, that's certainly going to happen there. New Orleans also sitting in the low to mid 80s, and then Tampa also sitting at 85 degrees on this actually rather cloudy day there across much of the area. So across much of the southeast, if you are playing spot the cold front is just south of Shreveport and New Orleans here. So 68 Shreveport, 82 New Orleans, also 82 in Nashville, and then 60 in Little Rock. So we actually have a decent cold front that's coming through here. It's going to drop at least drop the humidity and drop the temperatures along with it. If you are a heat lover, perhaps at least in the beginning, we might have a couple of days or so of that here across much of the Florida area. And if you are a cool weather lover like I am, and perhaps if your name is Robert, you might also be a cool weather lover too, behind this cold front, maybe perhaps later on in the week. So those current dew points are staying pretty saturated here with those dew points well into the 60s and even some 70s, like New Orleans, 73. That's summer-like, as I've mentioned earlier, with those dew points. So really feeling really muggy here across at least the upper Gulf there. And then as for behind the cold front, we're also staying actually a little bit drier here with Little Rock in the 50s. So it's more of that chapstick weather perhaps. So at least those current temperature anomalies here ahead of the front, we have those temperatures at least even as high as 23 degrees from what we should be expecting at this time here. So Charlotte, 23 degrees above normal here. Memphis +1, and then Fayetteville staying at least 7 below here, at least for normal. And as for that radar, we're having that line extending from about Houston, Texas, all the way up through Mississippi and towards, or at least into Nashville, Tennessee, Kentucky, and into Columbus, Ohio, like Nikki was mentioning earlier. We have that strong line with that severe thunderstorm watch here in effect from about, or I should say tornado watch in effect from about eastern Louisiana all the way up through the Ohio Valley there. So again, you need to watch out for any event up there. At least these storms do become pretty strong or could perhaps produce a spin up. So as for our future radar, we do expect these storms to perhaps stall a little bit out here across northern Alabama through Louisiana over the next several days or so. So in your Friday, that front will begin to go at least further to the south here and actually influence our weather a little bit. So we might even perhaps see a shower or two on Friday, but I think that most of the weather is going to come through on Saturday. So as for that rainfall outlook, we have most of that rain is going to stay just off near Memphis down through about eastern Texas and over just off to our west here. So Pensacola might perhaps get in on some of the action. And as for those temperatures tonight, we should expect that to be down into the 60s, and then tomorrow, still pretty much a rinse and repeat of today. But honestly, we're going to take things back to the desk with Evan and Oceana.
Thank you, Aaron. Yes, so we definitely, if you've paid much attention to the news, there has been quite a lot of severe weather, and as unfortunate as it is, it did happen a year ago today, something very similar.
That's right. We had another tornado outbreak, which is typical for early April, but we did have quite the extensive tornado outbreak last year. If we could get the graphic up there, there we go. 1 year ago today, we had a tornado outbreak that spanned over 3 days, the 4th to the 7th, and it impacted a lot of the southeast.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. There was a total of 89 tornadoes that touched down, including an EF4, which is really, really intense and did cause really catastrophic damage in Georgia.
Yeah, and that EF3 tornado in Georgia was in Pembroke and Black Creek, Georgia. That was an EF4, as you can see on that screen there. It had maximum winds of 185 miles per hour, and it had a width of 3/4 of a mile at its peak intensity.
That sounds extremely scary to be involved in. And unfortunately, we did see something just like that a couple days ago in the Midwest. And it was also responsible for deaths, as well as this tornado outbreak last year, which was unfortunately responsible for 3 deaths and $1.3 billion in damage.
Yeah, that one EF4 tornado in Georgia actually was responsible for 1 of those deaths and 12 of those injuries. So just in that one tornado, we got a whole lot of those numbers there just covered in that one tornado. Yeah, so we'll take a look at the next thing, and there's what that satellite looked like in a classic springtime storm. You could spot the cold front a little bit with this, kind of where those clouds start to break behind the system. That's where that cold front is, and it really was quite the system to look at, not only on satellite but also on radar, unfortunately. And you can see all those confirmed tornado reports and warnings as well.
Yeah, all those little triangles there were touchdowns of tornadoes as well as defined thunderstorms, which is really scary to think about. Look at that damage from an EF4 in Black Creek that Evan had just mentioned.
Yeah, some of the storm knocked out homes that were completely destroyed, and you can see there, that's 1 of 2 homes that were completely swept off of their foundations and just left with nothing there. So hopefully we don't get to see a whole lot more of that this spring. Hopefully things will start to die down.
Yeah, and always remember to take cover and pay attention to those warning signals. Yes. On a better note, we are going to give it to Isabel to look at the national.
Thank you, guys. So I'm going to take a step even further back, as I did when I was looking at Florida, and look at the whole nation as a whole. So if we go into the temperatures, right now we can see a super strong gradient coming up here, and another one when it separates these green temperatures from these blue and purple temperatures. That's going to be super duper warm areas here in the southeast, and then as you move into central United States, it's going to get a little bit warmer, and then very, very cold up here at 42 degrees in Billings, 41 degrees in Denver, getting a little warmer, 51 in Kansas City, 66 in Dallas, and as we saw today, very warm temperature, 84 degrees here in Tallahassee. So as we were saying, we've been experiencing muggy, summer-like weathers. Quite the opposite is happening for areas more in the west and the northwest specifically. So it is sitting at 8 degrees dew point for Billings and 13 in Bismarck. It's going to be a little less or extremely dry in those areas as opposed to in the southeast region. The dew point is sitting at -2 degrees in Albuquerque. Looking at temperature anomalies, this is how different the temperature that they are seeing is from the temperatures that they would normally be expecting. So in Tallahassee, this darker reddish temperature means that it is a lot warmer than we would be seeing in this time of the year versus over in the northwest area, it's going to be a lot colder than they are seeing this year. And then in the areas like San Francisco, it's going to be what you would be expecting to see right now. Over in St. Louis, it's going to be a lot warmer. That's what those pinkish temperatures are symbolizing. And going into the surface analysis, that gradient that I was showing earlier corresponds with this low pressure system and this cold front. That's what's going to be pushing that precipitation all the way up the southeast. And there's another low pressure system associated with the warm front right above that, and then this high pressure system here that we're going to be seeing the effects of in the next couple of days. Looking at the drought monitor, we are currently experiencing extreme drought throughout, looks like about 50% of the United States, focusing in very severe drought up here in Oklahoma and the Kansas area. That is going to be in extreme or exceptional severity. That's quite large severity of drought for the whole, it seems like, central United States. Looking at the radar in the central United States, we're going to be looking at some places we don't normally talk about. For example, if you look over here in Iowa, we're going to see these nice cooler conditions with light, no precipitation, or in light cloud cover. So there's going to be little cumulus clouds that aren't going to affect your day-to-day life. Sitting at 44 degrees, partly cloudy with 25 miles an hour winds. Looking at the storm outlook, you can see these areas are more severe going all the way up here to the Great Lakes, and surrounding areas are going to be seeing similar types of conditions. current watches and warnings. Thankfully, we aren't seeing any tornado warnings or watches in this area, but we are seeing severe thunderstorm watches and severe thunderstorm warnings all the way up this way. The northeast radar, we're seeing some precipitation over the Great Lakes area, moving on through the next couple of hours. Looking at Boston College, it's going to be muggy, cloudy conditions, 41 degrees with 14-mile-an-hour winds to hopefully move it through. This is the Gulf Coast. We've been over it today. There's going to be precipitation coming through, but not close to us. It's going to be up here in this area with slightly higher elevations. This is Miramar Beach. It's going to be on the Panhandle. Rainfall forecast, and here are tomorrow's temperatures. Now I'm going to pass it on to Nikki.
Thank you so much, Isabel. I have some things to say about our lifestyle here. We have quite a bit going on in Tallahassee. Our IM fields are looking ready tonight for some IM sports. Shout out to my friends that are going to be playing tonight, Chase, Ian, Evan, maybe Robert. I don't even know yet, but it should be fun. I'll be cheering them on tonight. Another live look at Doak. That sun is starting to set. It looks very bright on the camera. Oh, it's hurting my eyes just a little bit, but it is going to be beautiful outside right now. It was kind of a scorcher today, 84 degrees with a few clouds right now, but definitely not blocking the sun right now. And we have a little bit of a breeze going on. If you're planning to travel out of Tallahassee right now, it should be good to leave to most destinations, but as we get to the rest of the country, there are some delays in Dallas, Fort Worth, and we did have some delays in New York, but it seems to have resolved itself, so that's good if you're planning to go to or from there. If you're going to be walking your dog or your cat tomorrow morning, depending on how you feel about the heat, the morning might be better if you like the cooler temperatures, but if you want to wait a little bit and you prefer warmer temperatures, I definitely say wait because it is going to be quite toasty again tomorrow. So just be ready for that if you want to walk your little furry friend. But for our pollen, this pollen has been killing me recently. Not my favorite. The grass pollen is high while weeds and trees are low. So if you are kind of the person that's susceptible to getting those allergies, I would definitely recommend taking your allergy medication before you leave the house in the morning. If you're planning on stargazing tonight, it's fair. I would say there's probably going to be some clouds in the sky, but it's not the worst night to try and go out. Maybe go to Alligator Point. It's pretty dark out there, so as long as there aren't any clouds, you should be A-okay to be looking at those beautiful stars, seeing those constellations. If you're going to be watching softball, the women's team is going to be playing against Clemson. It is going to be really hot outside. Make sure that you wear your sunscreen and drink that water. I don't think you're allowed to bring water bottles unless they're empty, so just keep that in mind when you go to the stadium. And baseball is also playing Clemson tomorrow, so it's also still going to be pretty hot outside, but it's going to be as the sun is going down at 8 p.m. So you might not need as much sunscreen. I would still recommend it, but definitely bring that water because you definitely don't want to be buying it in there as well. It'll be pretty expensive. But this weekend, we also have the opening of the FSU Circus. They're doing Cosmic, and it's going to be pretty warm outside. Even under that cover of the tent, it will be pretty warm. So just make sure you think of that. And also visit me at the merchandise booth because I will be selling shirts there. It is also going to be beautiful to be going to the beach, especially if the sun is out. It is going to be quite toasty, so I definitely recommend it. And for the rest of the weekend, we might be seeing some rain on Saturday and Sunday, so just watch out for that as you make your weekend plans. But now, Oceana is going to give us a last look at our local.
Thanks, Nikki. Yeah, as you can see, that those really warm temperatures that we saw today are going to continue. It's 84 right now, but we've got a beautiful look at Doak Campbell. Like Nikki said, it's really bright, so I would definitely bring some sunglasses if you are walking around right now. And the area is really dry, no rain. So if you're planning on going out tonight, walking around, it is a really great night to do so. But again, really warm all across the Big Bend area. It is low 80s, even high 80s in Donaldsonville, and down by the coast, slightly cooler, but still 79 degrees in Apalachicola. Our high is actually nearing our record, and you can probably tell outside today. It was absolutely blistering. It was 87 as a high, a low of 63 really early this morning if you were lucky enough to feel that slight cooler temperature this morning. It was also very humid today, as said by our higher dew point than we usually would see. Up here in Donaldsonville, again, it is higher there. It was really humid and muggy today, making it quite uncomfortable, and these humidity will stay at least for today and tomorrow. It will also be a little bit cloudy, but like we had mentioned before, too much clouds, that will affect your day-to-day. Up here, there is some rain over here in Quincy and Bainbridge, but in Tallahassee, we are looking fantastic. For tonight, 67, still really mild temperatures, mostly cloudy, pretty nice night, but the humidity will stick around, so definitely look out for that. All around the region, it will be high 60s tonight, really mild temperatures, really warm. We are seeing that summer heat is coming early, let me tell you. For tomorrow, it will be 88. Really hot. We are nearing the 90s for this time of year, and it is only springtime. I remember last year it was a little bit cooler than this. We will have a slight wind at 10 miles per hour, but it will be partly cloudy, so if you can get some of that shade while you can. 88 degrees. We are sitting really warm here in Tallahassee. 87 in Bainbridge, and down by the coast, slightly cooler, but still really warm at 81 degrees. Over here in Georgia, again, really warm temperatures, really warm all around the Big Bend, as you could tell by this trend of this show, very warm. For the weekend, unfortunately, it's not looking the very best as far as rain is concerned, but if you do need an excuse to stay inside, this weekend is a great one for that. 80% of rain Saturday and Sunday. Friday, look at that, hot, like we had said this entire show. It will be a little rainy coming into the week next week, but overall, we're staying warm for the next few weeks. I'm going to pass it on to the desk.
Thank you, Oshana. It's been a scorcher here, almost 90 degrees outside today across Tallahassee. What is your opinion on that? I don't like it, but what do you think?
I don't know about you, but I'm really looking forward to those cooler temperatures this weekend. That's going to be brought in with that rain and some precipitation. So it might not be the nicest day to go out this weekend, but I'm going to look forward to a break.
That's right. As you saw on the 7-day, we have 80% chance of rain on both Saturday and Sunday. So don't forget that umbrella if you are heading out the door. Luckily, it looks like we're going to have at least any significant chance of severe weather this weekend. At least right now, it seems like it should stay non-severe across our area, which is certainly a relief over the past few weeks or so.
Yeah, so I'm going to look forward to that rain for more than just to get away from the heat, but we're also experiencing a slight drought at the moment.
That's right. Actually, places in Southwest Florida, I believe, got into that severe drought category last week, which is actually, I think, the first time in probably a good 5, almost 10 years or so in the area. So, again, make sure, just a reminder to stay hydrated and all that.
Make sure you follow us on Twitter at FSU Weather.
Also, like us on Facebook at facebook.com/FSU Weather.
Watch us live on YouTube, which you're probably doing right now at youtube.com/FSU Weather.
As well as follow us on Instagram at FSU Weather.
And if you're not on campus Wi-Fi, you can probably still find our TikTok, which we are having up and running right now.
That's right. And again, thank you for joining us on our show here. We'll have Evan take one last look at our 7-day.
That's right. Thanks, Aaron. And I know you guys have been talking about Robert a lot here today, so hopefully Robert is a fan of these temperatures. I know he's from Texas, so he might like these temperatures. So for tomorrow and Friday, we'll be in the upper 80s. That shower and thunderstorm threat really ramps up for Saturday and Sunday, so maybe a good weekend to get some synoptic studying done, because I know I'll be doing that. And then we do have a slight shower chance for early next week. Wednesday looks like we'll clear up with a mid to upper 70s high temperature there. But this is student meteorologist Evan Regan. Have a great evening, Tallahassee.